2 lines about the script you sent me. Betrayed and dumped with the infamous, "Let's just be friends" line. He smiled and agreed. What happened next wasn't revenge, it was poetic justice. She ended our 2-year relationship with those hollow words. "We'll always be friends, though." I just nodded and said, "Absolutely." Weeks later, she discovered that friendship doesn't cover rent, emotional support, or car repairs, especially after I started seeing her roommate. The breakup came on a quiet Tuesday night. No shouting, no tears. Just a cold, condescending monologue that ended with the most patronizing sentence imaginable. "We'll always be friends, though." Her name was Amber. She called herself an artist, though that mostly meant working part-time at a coffee shop, daydreaming about a novel she'd never write, and looking down on people like me, people who actually worked for a living. I run a small business restoring classic cars. I work with my hands. To her and her pretentious art school friends, that made me simple. Reliable, but simple. Like a piece of furniture you never really notice until it's gone. That night, she sat me down in the apartment where I paid 80% of the bills and delivered her well-rehearsed speech. It was full of vague phrases about nurturing her creative soul and feeling trapped. The message was clear. My grease-stained hands and practical mind weren't exciting enough for her grand artistic future. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I'm a mechanic. When an engine is beyond repair, you don't negotiate, you scrap it. And this relationship was totaled. Then came the final insult. She placed a hand on my knee, her eyes full of pity and self-importance. "We'll always be friends, right?" She said it like she was offering me a gift. Like I should be grateful to stay in her life as the reliable handyman who pays bills but doesn't complicate things with love. Something inside me went cold. Any remaining hurt vanished. She wasn't ending a relationship, she was reclassifying an asset. I smiled slowly. Absolutely. Relief washed over her face. She thought she'd kept her safety net while gaining freedom. She had no idea that my version of friendship was about to become a very expensive lesson. "Oh, good," she said, smiling. "I'm glad you're being so mature about this." "Of course," I replied, standing up. "That's what friends do. And as your friend, let me give you some friendly advice. You should start looking for someone to cover my share of the rent. I'm moving out this weekend." Her smile didn't fade, it shattered. "What? You can't. Where am I supposed to go?" "I don't know," I said, heading to pack. "But I'm sure a resourceful artist like you will figure it out. Friends believe in each other, right?" For the next hour, she followed me from room to room, her voice shifting from disbelief to panic to fury. "You can't just leave me. The lease is in both our names." "You're right," I said calmly. "I'll pay my half through the end of the month. That gives you 3.5 weeks to find a replacement. Or we can break the lease together, $2,000 penalty, split evenly. Your choice." The mention of $1,000, money she didn't have, sent fresh panic across her face. Her part-time job only covered coffee and art supplies. I paid the real bills. "I can't do that," she whispered. "You have to stay, Jake. At least until the lease ends. It's the decent thing. We're friends, right?" "Friends don't trap friends in uncomfortable situations," I said, meeting her eyes. "That would be unhealthy. As your friend, I'm giving you space to find yourself. And I'm taking mine too." Just then, our third roommate, Maya, walked in. A veterinary technician, quiet and exhausted, she mostly kept to herself to avoid Amber's constant drama. She saw my suitcase and Amber's tear-streaked face inside. "Don't tell me," Maya muttered. Amber spun toward her. "He's leaving me." Maya glanced at me. I shrugged. "We broke up. I'm moving out. You'll have a new roommate soon." Maya nodded slowly. "Okay." Then she disappeared into her room. For the rest of the weekend, Amber cycled through every manipulation tactic: tears, nostalgia, accusations. I stayed calm, replying through the lens of our friendship. "You're really throwing away 2 years," she sniffled. "As your friend, I think it's important to focus on the future," I said peacefully. The first real test came the next week. I was in my new place when she called, panicked. "Jake, the power's out. You have to come fix it." "Did you check the breaker box?" "The what?" I don't know about that. You always handled it. It's in the hallway closet. Flip the switch that's out of line. I'm scared. What if I get electrocuted? Please, as my friend. I took a slow breath. Amber, as your friend, I'm concerned. But I'm 2 towns away. Call emergency maintenance. The number's on the fridge. Silence. She'd never considered a normal solution because I'd always been her on-call handyman. But they'll charge me. Probably. But your safety is worth it, right? You've got this. Let me know how it goes. I hung up. The calls kept coming. Her car made a strange noise. I suggested a mechanic. She complained about the cost. I advised a savings account. Every problem was met with friendly, useless advice. Then things shifted. Maya and I started texting. At first, it was just updates on Amber's meltdowns. But soon, it became more. One night, Maya texted in a panic. Her dog Buster was sick, and Amber was out with some new guy. Maya was scared to take him on the bus. I didn't hesitate. I'm on my way. I drove them to the emergency vet. We spent 4 hours talking in the waiting room about her stress, my work, our shared sense of humor. By the time the vet said Buster would be fine, he'd eaten a sock. Something had changed between us. I started finding excuses to see her. Fixed her car. No payment needed. I just liked being around her. We started dating quietly, keeping it secret to avoid Amber's drama. 2 months later, I had to go back to the old apartment to sign papers removing my name from the lease. Maya came with me. As I signed, she squeezed my hand. Amber saw it. Her fake smile froze, then cracked. Her face went pale, then red. She stared at our intertwined hands, realization dawning. She'd lost her boyfriend, her wallet, her handyman, and now he was with the quiet roommate she'd never bothered to notice. She didn't scream. She just stared, finally understanding the full cost of her friendship. A year later, our lives couldn't be more different. Amber's new roommate lasted 6 weeks before moving out in the middle of the night. Unable to pay rent, she was evicted. Last I heard, she moved back in with her parents, 3 hours away. Her grand artistic adventure ended in her childhood bedroom. Me? Life's never been better. Maya and I live in a small house with a big yard for Buster. She passed the bar and works at a law firm. I've got my garage for projects. We're a real team, bills, chores, dreams, all shared. No games. No drama. My revenge wasn't loud or elaborate. It was quiet. She wanted to be friends? Fine. I became the best friend possible. Endless advice. Zero help. I let her face the consequences of her choices. And while her world collapsed, I built a better one with a better woman right under her nose. Turns out, that's the sweetest revenge of all. What goes around comes around. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more real-life revenge tales.